I get asked questions all the time from all around the world. Questions like, if I touch my baby's diaper, does that break my wudu? Questions like, if I see some blood after my menstrual period has ended, what am I supposed to do? Can I pray or can I not pray? If it's the month of Ramadan and I'm supposed to be fasting, can I get an injection done or will that break my fast? Questions like, if there's gelatin in my Starbucks or my Skittles, am I allowed to eat it? If there's alcohol in my perfume, am I allowed to spray it on my body? Questions like, I'm a man and can I wear a watch that has gold on it? Or what if it's gold plated? Can I wear it then? Can I wear silk ties? These kind of questions get asked on a daily basis by thousands of Muslims all around the world. And many of them, they don't have access to get good answers. There's online services, sometimes a person is able to respond, sometimes maybe they don't know the right answer. So these are questions that people are legitimately and sincerely asking. And sometimes they're detailed questions, and sometimes they're actually even basic questions like, how do I offer a funeral prayer? I have no idea how it's offered, I've never offered it before. What am I supposed to say during that? Questions like, how do I pay zakah? I keep hearing that zakah is a pillar of Islam, but I don't know exactly what it entails. Which assets do I actually have to pay zakah on, and how do I do it? Let's face it, there's many things that every single Muslim needs to know, or at least will need to know in the near future, but they don't have good, clear answers to. And that's because most of us lack a basic Islamic education. And yet, most Western Muslims are actually very educated. They study biology, they study sociology, they study high-level mathematics. They study American history, they study world history. And they learn all of those things, but they don't learn the basic things that they need to be doing as a Muslim in the first place. So it's really important that we understand these things and we proactively take an approach where we can actually learn what we're supposed to be doing before it's even time to do it. And it's what I call the DIY approach, the do-it-yourself approach. When you need to learn something, people go to WikiHow, they go to eHow, they go to self-help books, they can Google, different questions, and they get answers. And they're intelligent enough to understand those things. And I believe that it's very possible that we can do the exact same thing when it comes to the essentials of Islamic law, when it comes to the essentials of Islamic practice. So this course is going to cover everything that a Muslim needs to know about purification before prayer, about wudu and ghusl, taking a bath, all of those things. It's going to cover everything you need to know about prayer. Not just the 5 daily prayers, but all the other type of prayers that are out there, from the Friday prayer to the funeral prayer to all other prayers. It's going to cover all the things a Muslim needs to know about fasting and the month of Ramadan. It's going to cover everything a Muslim needs to know about zakah. And it's going to cover everything a Muslim needs to know about the type of food that we're allowed to eat, the type of things we're allowed to drink, and the things which are prohibited for us. And it's also going to cover the type of things we're allowed to wear and things we should not be wearing. How is a sister supposed to actually wear her hijab? Can she keep the neck exposed or not exposed? Can she open up her ears or can she not open up her ears? When a guy wears certain type of clothing, does he have to cover his head or he doesn't have to cover his head? These are all things that Muslims want answers to, and they need answers to. And they need clear and simple answers so that they can actually practice these things in their own daily lives. And this is what this class is going to offer. Now, I know that sounds like a lot to cram into one class, and it is. And that's why we're going to make sure that the methodology that we use is that we're going to mention one scholarly opinion when there are differences of opinion on any issue. And we're not going to mention all the detailed evidence behind it from every single verse in the Quran and every single hadith that has gone in to back up this opinion. Because if you study that way, and that's a nice way of studying in advanced levels, but if you study that way, you're never going to be able to cover all of these things. And that's why, I encounter so many people, they tell me they've taken classes, they spent dozens of hours studying Islamic law, and then I ask them certain basic questions, and they still don't know what to do. And that's because they studied in a way where they were focusing so much on these supplementary things and they didn't focus enough on the basics first. So the way that we're going to teach is that we teach people what they need to know in order to be able to practice it in their daily lives. And then we're going to talk about how to deal with some of these differences of opinion in society. So that once you learn these things, you don't start automatically imposing them on your friends who may actually know potentially more than you, but you simply didn't know how to deal with that. So this is another important aspect of the class which is going to be touched upon as well.